Hi, I'm Paula Mercado. I'm part of a K-influencer program with KoreaNet. On Follow Me, we interview large creators to find out tips and tricks about how to start YouTube. And today, I'm very much honored and privileged to be joined by one of the largest creators here in Korea. Let's all welcome Dave!
What's up, guys? It's Dave. I'm a YouTuber here in Korea. I've been in Korea for 12 long years. I've been doing YouTube for 7 years now. I'm here to tell you guys about my adventure on becoming a YouTuber and how I've come this far.
Alright, so Dave, can you tell us what kind of channel is World of Dave?
I started on Facebook making little viral videos, I guess similar to Vine content. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Like little 7-8 second little funny little clips and stuff. And one of my videos blew up on Facebook. And I kept making videos for the sake of trying to get on Korean TV, which actually happened. I actually started doing a lot of TV work, but over time I realized that TV's not for me. I like making videos. I like creating content. And my content materials changed a lot over the last few years. Before, I used to do a lot of relatable content, like guys do this, girls do that. I used to do little stupid videos like that, and but over time, I realized that people really enjoyed culture content that told people stories about other countries, content that showed people other languages, other parts of the world that they don't get to visit because, it's not easy to go everywhere across the world and it's not easy to meet people from all kinds of countries. My channel almost became a medium to get a taste of other people's cultures and countries. So I'm kind of proud of that because my content is not only made to be funny and entertaining, but bring people together from all parts of the world.
Okay, so what do you think is the most important factor for making cultural content?
The most important part of doing cultural content is getting the essence of that culture. And even if it's 5%, even if it's 10% of getting a little bit of the actual culture, I think you're succeeding in doing cultural content because not everybody has the, privilege to travel around the world. I think one of the keys is, and one of my little secrets is getting people from the actual country to be on my channel. Because on my channel, I'm not just talking about other countries. I'm not talking about other cultures. I actually find people and have friends that, I care about come on to my channel and they talk from firsthand experience about their country. They teach me part of the language, customs from their countries. And I think it's better instead of just talking about certain countries to have firsthand experience come on your channel and, teach my audience about that country. From these videos, you get so many funny instances too. Sometimes I compare words from different languages. I've done videos where I compared Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and English pronunciation differences. And a lot of these words, for example, companies and stuff, the original words, for example, like MacBook, I'll say MacBook, Korea changes it up a little bit, MacBook, but then my Japanese friend will be like makubuku, which is completely different. We all get surprised and we all laugh at it, but these differences bring us together. And I think that makes it an even more enjoyable experience because while we're learning, we're also laughing together. We're also kind of picking on each other because I think it's just fun to, grow closer to people by just laughing at our differences too,
Speaking of different people, so I've watched some of your videos and these people, are they your friends? How did you get to know them?
There's all kinds of instances. I've met certain people through drinking. I've met certain people through friends. I've literally uploaded on Instagram, hey, looking for somebody from blah, blah, blah. DM me. And I've got DMs and I've met up with them and made content with them on our first meeting. It's really random. I've done videos with people who said they were like fans, but they ended up becoming part of like my crew. This kid on my channel, his name was Vi. And anytime we had Chinese lessons or we needed somebody who spoke Chinese, he'd be part of that. And the way I met him was he messaged me on Facebook. He's like, hey, I'm a fan. Can I take your videos and translate them and upload them on a Chinese website? And I said, no, you can't do that. Like, you can't just take my content, translate it to Chinese and make money off of it. But we can do it together and we can see if we can, make content in China as well, and he agreed to it, and we ended up making videos together, and now he's like family to me. So
What is the difference of your content with other contents?
I guess there isn't much difference between my channel and other channels. I think I've tried everything, a little bit of everything. I've failed before, I've succeeded before. That's one of the big things about YouTube. You have to try everything because you never know what works. There's so many YouTubers that even like a year ago, they were hardly getting views on their channel, but now they get quadruple the views of mine because they ventured out from their comfort zone and they tried different things. If I were to give advice to anybody who wants to start YouTube, just try everything once, see what works, and go with what works. But if what usually works starts failing, then you got to try something else. Because I mean, even now I'm going through that right now. I'm going through a little bit of an identity crisis. I'm trying to figure out what will work in this era because you can only do the same content for so long. People get tired of it. It's a harsh reality. But if you're creative, if you're smart, if you use your resources well, then anybody can go from the bottom to the top immediately.
So your editing style is very distinctive. Can you share about your editing
tips and tricks?
Yes.
I started editing like this a long time ago. Very colorful, a lot going on the screen at the same time, a lot of sound effects, etc., etc. At the time, it was very fresh. People hadn't seen editing like that on YouTube at the time. It was very, I guess, it caught your attention. Now that a lot of people have adopted this style of editing, and I watch a lot more Western YouTubers, I've come to appreciate minimalist editing. Are there people who, like me, who over-edit and the views don't equal the work that goes into it? I have a friend, their channel is called Botta, and they still shoot videos with their phone and very minimalist editing, but they are killing it on views, you know? Have a characteristic that makes your editing you, but don't overdo it, because once you start editing a certain way or put that much effort and quality into a video, you can't go back, because I can't start just not doing as many edits because people will be like, oh, he's getting lazy. What happened to the original editing? You know, I'm stuck. I'm in a hole. I say don't ever over edit. That's my advice. Content is more important. The uniqueness, the idea is more important than the actual editing, which is a different answer that I would have given 7 years ago. Believe it or not, I would have given a completely different answer 3-4 years ago even, that editing is more important than the idea. Nope. The idea is more important than the editing.
So which content do you think your viewers like the most?
Obviously the pronunciation different videos. You take people from different countries, give them the same word, and see how different the pronunciation is. I've done European versions, I've done, East Asian versions, I've done Southeast Asian versions. I don't know if you've seen it. There was even Philippines in it. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. You know what's funny? I'm the first person on YouTube to do it. But it's such an easy concept. I'm surprised that nobody thought of it before me. I just got lucky, to be honest. Because if I didn't have that content, then I wouldn't be here right now. I would not be here right now.
So do you have any memorable interview as a YouTuber?
I interviewed Ma Dong-seok. You guys know him from Train to Busan. He's done a ton of movies, but that was a really fun interview I had with him. He was a really cool guy, and people loved that interview. People still quote it to this day. I've interviewed Martin Garrix. I don't know if you know who that is. He's one of the biggest DJs in the world. One of my favorite things is doing collaborations with celebrities. When you see them on other mediums, like through social media or TV, they seem like, I guess they seem so distant, but when you meet them, you realize that, they're people too. They're almost always down to earth. I've had a lot of cool experiences, and I've made friends with people that I've interviewed before. Like even like Jessie, the singer, she ended up becoming a friend of mine. And sometimes I'll play video games with people I met through these interviews. Like I did this podcast with Jay from Day 6. I did like this podcast with him, and he's huge, especially in the K-pop world. And then a few days later, it's, hey, you want to play a PC game like Valorant? I was like, wow, yeah, dude, let's do it. You just realize that, these people are just like everybody else, and they're pretty down to earth. And I think that's one of the coolest, I guess, experiences to just see other sides of people that you wouldn't imagine were there. Or like, for example, like Sam Hamilton, he's like world famous now because of him, his kids, William and Bentley. I mean, he's just a different level. He'll call me at night when he's bored. Well, we do a podcast together. If I need him for a video, he'll just come over. His wife just like, come over for dinner. Like, these are people that at one point, I would never even imagine to get even be in the same room as them, but they've become friends of mine. I guess I kind of like seeing the more personable parts of people that are considered famous.
How do you choose the themes to cover for your videos?
Honestly, a lot of times they're extremely random. I'll be in the shower just zoning out, and I'll be like, whoa, that'd be a cool idea for a video. I'll be having drinks with my friends at a pub or something. We'll be drinking soju or something, and when you're drinking with friends, a lot of funny conversations come up from that, and we'll be laughing about something that we all relate to, or laughing about something like that I do as an American. It clicks to me like, oh gosh, the fact that people find that kind of amusing, that could be content on its own. So I guess through a lot of life experiences, I think of content and watching other stuff too, like not other YouTubers per se, but TV shows or movies, just anything, or just listening to music, anything that kind of gets your creative blood boiling. In the end, we all have that creative gene, but everyone has a different medium to trigger it. Find that thing that triggers your creativity. For me, it's having drinks with my friends, or just having alone time and zoning out.
So there's not really content planning.
There's not really content planning. I guess the most planning I'll do is I'll open like a notepad document and just get the general ideas of what I want to cover in a video, or I'll kind of write an outline out, but there's no real planning that goes into my content. And sometimes I think maybe my content would be a lot better if I did do some planning. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should start planning out. But no, up until now, I haven't been planning out that much.
So okay. Dave, I'm one of the starter in YouTube. And is there any tips or advice that you want to share with us?
When you start YouTube, do not pay attention to the views. I've had literally hundreds of people ask me or tell me, Dave, I'm going to start YouTube. Dave, I want to start a channel. Dave, give me some advice. Dave, I've made this video. Check it out. Can you tell me how it is? In the early stages, I've given people paragraphs of what they should do, blah, blah, blah. But 99.9% of people, they upload that first video or two, see that it doesn't have views, and they just give up. There must be millions of dead YouTube channels with one or two videos, with a good idea, one or two videos, and they just stopped. Unless you're a celebrity, or unless you have, I guess, connections or a lot of friends, nobody just breaks with their first few videos. That never happens. Don't even look at the views, except that nobody's gonna watch it. Just start the next video. Every single person on YouTube, unless they've had connections or they're a celebrity, they all started at 0. Nobody starts at 1 million subscribers. You can't even pay for that, even if you want to. If you really believe in your ideas and you think it's a good idea, then one day other people will think that too.
So what do you think is the trend these days in Korea YouTube?
When my content did its best was a few years ago, when I was really paying attention to modern music, modern content, what was currently trending. Keep in touch with the times. Don't be like me. Don't get lazy and stop paying attention to what's popular. Don't stop looking at what's popular in terms of music and entertainment. Keep yourself updated. That really helps. I told my staff a few days ago, every week, tell me what's popular, what's currently trending in Korea. I don't know what's trending. I can't help you there, but I will know what's trending within the next few weeks. And I think everybody who wants to do YouTube should at least have some idea with what's trending. It's very important. And I hate saying it because some people have no interest in it. Like, I don't have that much interest in it. But just because I don't have interest in it doesn't mean I can't use it to make my own content out of it and make it interesting for somebody like me.
How do you present foreign culture to our Korean viewers?
Being in Korea for so long, to some extent, my personality, I've grown up in Korea and I've become, I guess, in terms of my humor, in terms of my actions, the way I am, I've become, I guess, very Koreanized, I guess, and not in the sense of, I listen to K-pop, blah, blah, blah. I have no offense to people like that, but I've actually lived in Korea for so long. So even if I didn't have interest in Korea, I still became the way I am because I lived in Korea for so long. So that leads me to my content. Despite being in Korea for so long, I'm still a foreigner in Korea, and I still feel like a foreigner every day. When people look at me, they see me as a foreigner. And when I meet other foreigners, we still give each other the eye like, you too? You know what I'm saying? This is just an eye other foreigners give each other, because we know we're not Korean. We see each other, but we're all in Korea together. So me living in Korea for so long and me making content with other foreigners, I'm almost a middleman. I guess what makes Koreans enjoy my culture content is because I kind of package things as a middleman. I'll have my guest from another country explain their culture, their language, and I guess I summarize things for Koreans. And I think that's what makes it easy for Koreans to watch my content if they want to learn about other countries. Because I'll hear something and I know exactly what to say to make a Korean viewer understand it better. Because if I were to just straight up translate it, some things get lost in translation. Not all language and culture can be perfectly translated. But if I'm here to help Koreans understand other people's culture, I think I'm doing my job correctly.
What is the difference between your foreign fans and Korean fans?
If I were to put it simply, Korean netizens in general, or even my viewers, my Korean viewers, they can be very forward. Forward to the point where sometimes it could hurt your feelings. But that's the thing about Korean culture. They're very upfront people. On the internet, where you're not seeing their face, Koreans can be pretty brutal. But that's just the way, I guess, Koreans are in general. So I've had comments like, hey, why did you get so old? With a little crying face. And the thing is, they're not even, if they put a crying face on there, you know they're not even trying to hurt my feelings. They're just saying it, but it still hurts my feelings. Whereas, I guess, Western viewers, they're a little bit more gentle with their criticism, a little bit more supportive, but that's the Korean way of being supportive, and that's the Western way of being supportive. So I guess the biggest difference is Koreans are very upfront with their comments, and it can be a little bit hurtful sometimes, but you get used to it. I've been here 12 years, so I'm pretty used to it.
Are there any final comments you'd like to share?
If I could give 2 good pieces of advice, one would be keep going. Nobody blows up from their first video unless you're extremely lucky. Everyone starts at 0. Nobody starts with 1 million subscribers. So you can't just upload 1 or 2 videos and expect people to come flocking to your channel. You have to be consistent. You have to keep uploading. Don't pay attention to the views. Just go for it. It's hard to put so much time into something people aren't watching, but ignore that and think about the future. Because if you think you have a good idea, people will think you have a good idea in the end as well and come to your channel. That's my first piece of advice. And number 2 is don't put too much effort or time into editing. The ideas are more important is what I'm trying to say. The ideas and how personable you are with your audience. So I want you guys to remember those 2 things.
As a K-influencer, I really enjoyed watching the episodes of Follow Me, and I really learned a lot, and I'm going to apply this in my YouTube channel.
Alright guys, and this is the last episode of the Follow Me series. I hope you guys enjoyed all our creators that came on this show and gave us amazing advice. I hope you guys can take this advice and flourish on YouTube as well.
So thank you so much again, Dave, for joining us in this episode, and thank you everyone for joining us in all the episodes of Follow
Me!